What's up, guys? Alain, Torres here. Today we're going to talk about destroying the ego. And yes, that's in caps. Okay, so at this point you've done a ton of personal development work. You've done a lot of introspection. You are looking at yourself. You've seen the things that you don't like, and you're like, oh, I don't like this. How do I work on this? Is this my ego? Is this not my ego? What do I do? What do I do with this? How do I actually live beyond it? What does living beyond my ego actually mean? Thanks, Mitch. Here's the thing. So you have and not to judge, but like you have a basic level of self-awareness. Like we all do. You know, we're all working through that next step. Like, what is that next step that we don't know about? Like, there's always something we don't know about, and I want to kind of give you like the cheat code to the video game at the very end of the story. It's like you can go into infinity trying to figure this stuff out, or go into infinity working through all this stuff in your mind. Like, it will go forever. Okay. You have to remember, we were made in the likeness of the universe, so the universe is infinite. Okay, so with this infinity of the universe, that is you can be in personal development mode for the rest of your life. I just want to let you sink in. I want that to sink in for a minute here. So at some point, you will work on yourself to the point. At some point, you will work on yourself to the point, right? Redundancy, whatever. I speak English, I promise. You will get to the point where you're like, oh man, this can go on to infinity. It's what I just said, but you'll actually recognize that. You'll hear my words. It's gonna kind of do one of these, but later you're gonna be like, man, that crazy guy was right. Like, he actually was right. Damn, okay, So what do I do with that now? So then it's about letting go of the need to understand more, letting go of the need to understand why, letting go of the need to fix or heal or let go of the ego, or to live somewhere else other than the ego. And is it possible to live in this world without ego? Yeah. It is. So here's the thing. Some people say, oh, there's no such thing as getting rid of the ego. Can you live beyond it and have zero ego? I do believe that it's possible. Can some people actually live that in this modern day and age in society, living within a city? Probably not, okay? So unless you're going to go meditate and levitate in caves and stare at the wall all day, which is cool, I did want to do that at one point in my life. I know I did. I was searching for myself, looking for these deeper questions, trying to understand the deeper questions of life and understand these things. And I was like, well, maybe I should go meditate in the caves. Maybe I should go, I don't know, find enlightenment, seek a spiritual master, a Buddha, all these different things. And did I do that? Yeah, definitely. And I'll get to more of those stories in other videos. But the point of the matter is, you have to remove your ego out of the situation in order to actually take a look at it and see what it is you are, how it is you are, what you're being, what you actually like, and how you don't like it, and then make a decision to actually be in a different way, okay? So that's only going to happen when you create space for yourself and take time for yourself, me time, okay? So with society speeding up, and we're always here, you know, it's less about human interaction, it's more here interaction, and we're literally living reality through our phone. We're not actually like focusing on the things of going inward. We're just focusing on outward. So it's gonna be a massive pattern interrupt for you, which is actually the entire solution is the pattern interrupt. It's doing something that's outside of your comfort zone. It's doing something that is outside your typical pattern of what is life, you know, your ego. You're doing something that your mind doesn't normally want you to do. Some people are great at being introverts. Other people are great at being extroverts. Some people are great at speaking. Some people aren't great at speaking. Some people are amazing talkers. Other people aren't amazing talkers. We all have these things, they're identities that we take on from our families. Could you call that an ego, every step of those, or every type of those? Absolutely. Yeah, those can all be categorized as ego. But, you know, in the mainstream narrative, people consider ego as like, oh, this is right or that's wrong. That guy, he's an ass, or she's a whatever. You know, like, that's what we consider as ego. But the reality is ego is so much more. It is the box in which your mind keeps you in. Okay? Again, it is the box in which your mind puts you in. And notice I didn't say the box that you put yourself in. It's the box that your mind puts you in, and you give your mind power thinking that this is the only way to be and that this is right. So you have to become aware that you're in a box. You're living in a bubble boy, bubble girl, and you're gonna have to pop it sooner or later. And that means facing the ugly truth of life. That means when your buttons get poked and pushed and you get triggered, you get emotional, you get frustrated, you get angry, you want to jump off something, like self-examine. Why? Rather than running away, which typical society now It's like, oh, something happened. Oh, I don't want to deal with this. Let me go run away. Let me go run on my merry way. But the reality is, like, be a warrior. Be someone who faces life. Be someone who faces your destiny. If you want something, it's going to take some work and some effort to get there. You're not just going to get it handed on a silver platter. Now, no matter how well you had it growing up, or no matter how well you didn't have it growing up, you have to work for it. And either way, as you work towards the areas in life or towards the things that you want to accomplish in life, things are going to come up. Your mind's going to come up. The things in your mind, they're going to try to stop you. Okay? You're going to get in the way, and your mind will try to prevent you from actually moving forward and getting and having those things. Like, it will try to stop you all the time. And that is what I'm talking about, the ego. So what is a world that looks like, what does your reality, your world look like? And what does that look like after the ego? You just do. You're in the flow. You act. You just be who you need to be when you need to be it, and do it. You're not even thinking. You're just in total flow, total inspiration. So I had a guy call me. This was probably two or 3 years back. He says, "Hey, listen, I'm interested in working with you. I just want you to know I have 5 coaches." And I'm like, "Whoa, why do you have 5 coaches? That's really interesting." And he says, "Yeah, 3 of them are Tony Robbins trained." I'm like, "Cool." And he's like, "I'm still trying to figure out why I need you." And I'm like, "Okay, well, why are we talking? I don't want to waste your time, but don't waste mine." So he says, "Well, like, I have all these concepts and ideas of what it means to be a spiritual, enlightened, or an awake person. A person who's very self-aware, but actually lives that way. I know what it means to be patient, to be understanding, to be compassionate, forgiving, unconditionally loving, but I'm not actually living those things." So he's living within his ego, living out old patterns because he's not self-aware of them, and he's still living them out. He's still being having lack of forgiveness, lack of understanding, lack of patience, and etc. And so the simple fact of the matter is, number 1 is awareness. Number 2 then is closing the gap of when you see the pattern come up to the point where it doesn't exist anymore. And then you are no longer that thing where you're actually like, "Oh, I should be forgiving right now. Okay, yeah, because I don't want to have ego right now, so I need to be compassionate. Yeah, I should be compassionate." So if that's how you're operating through life, like, you're actually not being those things. It's not who you are. You're actually lying to yourself, and you're lying to every single one around you. So in order to destroy those things, you have to go into your mind and literally destroy those concepts, those constructs in your mind that you give power to the point where you transcend them, you rise above the stories, and you no longer live through them. So you have to remember, in life, all we're ever doing is we're enacting our role. It's like a role of life. It's like a movie tape. It's you are the star, you are the superstar, the movie star to your movie, okay? And you know how to act because it's who you are. It's how you were raised. You have family dynamics, with mom and dad, how they were with each other, then with you. If you have siblings, you have dynamics like that. All these different areas, and you bring that forward into your life as you move into all areas of your life. Dating, relationships, business, even your health. So that includes habits of, like, eating shitty foods, or getting lazy when you should go for a walk, or staying here rather than actually doing something. So the point is, become more self-aware, and as you move towards the direction that you want to go in your life, you're gonna face things that push your buttons. So accept the challenge. Put on your Superman cape or your Wonder Woman outfit. Like, just do it and face it, because nothing else is gonna set you more free and help you to rise above and transcend your ego than actually doing the work. And that's the last piece I'll leave you with right now. Yes, it's work. Just in case you didn't hear that, I will say it again. Yes, it's work. You have to do the work. Otherwise, nothing's going to happen, nothing's going to change, and you're not actually going to be the person you're meant to become and live the life that you've always meant to live. So get on it, destroy your ego, post in the comments below. I'll see you guys in the next one.